All right, start on Patriots because they're doing garbage right now. Yeah, he's got the feed up too. We'll turn it to Dave for the first initial Patriot talk.
What to talk? I mean, game was pretty good yesterday.
I mean, if you call that good,
Well,
at home they were playing sort of a catch up the whole game.
Oh.
Towards the end,
if you got Brady blocking like a fucking linebacker out there,
I mean, that's sad that he has to.
Yeah, it is pretty sad that it has to be that way, but.
I don't know. I'm thinking he's gone next year. I know a lot of Pats fans don't like that, but I think he's done.
It is what it is.
I think he's walking away or retiring, and that's going to end up being the end of the Brady era. I'm kind of excited to see the new guy, but you never know.
It is going to be tough seeing Brady leave. I do believe he is going to be leaving, whether if it is a retire or a signing of a new team.
I think he goes elsewhere. He just gets a quick little contract, makes a little extra money before he retires.
There's a lot of speculation he goes to.
I heard L.A. I also heard Miami.
I heard San Diego as well.
Yeah, I heard
San Diego. There's talks.
Miami.
Well, San Diego's now Los Angeles.
Yeah.
As of next year.
Yeah. Raiders are going to Vegas, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, as of right now, I see Brady going to Los Angeles. He wanted to be a 49er before Garoppolo went there. So, I mean, if he was going to go anywhere, it would have been there. But he's pretty much gone with that. So, I mean, he's going to go to L.A. and finish it out.
Relatively
somewhere. Well, I think whoever the
new
quarterback is, they're going to have to – they definitely – I already said this 100 times over. They need a new tight end who's just like Gronk or can do the same thing that Gronk did for the Patriots. He took some coverage off Edelman. He could block when you needed him to. He was a threat downfield. They don't have that. They have 3 different tight ends all lacking. They're hit or miss for Brady, and Brady's not trusting the new guys either enough. I think Harry can catch the ball fine. Myers has had a good season when he's allowed to catch the ball. A lot of people are saying it's because he wasn't in training camp that he didn't get enough reps in with these guys.
Yeah, well, the rep thing is also, it has to do with
Might not be plugged into the computer.
Brady learning how to adapt to new players. Brady's always used to these older guys, these veterans, these guys who can understand the books, who can do a play correctly.
Mine had to be plugged into the computer.
There is no effort with him when it comes to new players at all.
No, I mean, you're right. Cause, I mean, I remember a couple of years ago when we had Dobson, and, he did pretty good. But as soon as we, knew that he was accident-prone or he had issues, it's bye-bye. We don't keep players long enough for them to know the Patriot way. Yeah. That's how I feel. I mean...
Yeah, well, I'm unbiased because I'm the only Rams fan at this table.
Fortunately.
Paul, you're fired. That's it.
But the Rams are already out. They played a phenomenal game against San Fran, but if they'd only played like that all season, it would have been a much better season for them. Goff, I think, still needs more training to go because he's just not where he needs to be. Gurley was on a snap count almost all season long, and it was not helping them. So, and there definitely needs of some repairs as far as the offense goes and to stick at a strong point. The Jalen Ramsey acquisition was great. He played really well for the few games he was there. So,
speculations on Brady, I guess. That's all the talk is now lately. Give me. I'll give you this. Who are your top 5? I'd say QBs to be replacing Brady some point next year.
I don't know. There's been a lot of speculation, and this is all speculation. I to be honest, in my own semi-opinion of this, I wouldn't be happy to see it, but there's been speculation they have been looking at Kaepernick to come in. I know that everyone's... it's like I said, it's a bit... A lot of people talk about it. If he's willing to, come in the league and play football, I say look at him, take a peek, see if he can fit into what you've already got offensively. If not, cool. I'd like to see the rookie get some more reps in. The problem is when you're quarterbacking behind Brady, there's not much time for you to get in and get your plays in, snap in. Even if they were up 40-0, they still wouldn't take Brady out most times.
Yeah.
So, as far as that goes, it could lean either way after that. I don't really have a top 5 per se to take over. I do think they should lean towards sort of what the Ravens did. They have the mobile quarterback now. That seems to be the new quarterback up and coming. Someone who's mobile, can throw on the run, can run, be like a 3-piece set of offensive weaponry that makes it difficult for defenses to stop them. Just look at Lamar. He's a perfect example of how a quarterback can run, throw the ball, and do all that can confuse a defense. He did it to the Patriots.
Yep. Everything nowadays is nothing but a running quarterback who can throw a long ball, basically.
And he can sell it pretty well. I don't know if you've watched him play, but when they do those handoffs, it looks like he almost completely gives the ball to the running back 9 out of 10 times. A really good sell.
Careful, you don't want to get shit like that San Francisco commentator.
Yeah, I mean it's really about how they play though. So I mean he sells it really well. He can show you, it looks like it's going to the running back, and then by the time you've already adjusted, Lamar's got it. He's off. Mm-hmm. He's got that quick 0 to 100 speed. Same thing with Tannehill. I showed you the hit before we began the podcast. That hit was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I don't see Lamar making a hit like that though. No. He did get crushed today in the games against Cleveland. He thought he was getting a block, and he didn't get a block, and he got obliterated. So it's also a double-edged sword because guys like his size, they take a hit, they could be out for the whole season.
Yeah.
I would say probably if you're looking at a mobile quarterback and you want somebody to come in and run the ball, but just stay in the pocket at some point. Sometimes look at Cam Newton over there. I mean, they're not certain over there. I mean, he's been injured the past couple of years. The quarterback behind him did pretty good when he was down this year. They won some games, so I mean, he kept them in it for the long haul. Kaepernick. Newton comes in, takes over. He's just not there. He's in a bad situation where they just keep letting him play hurt, where he needs the time to rehab and come back in and have a solid, offensive line. I mean, we have a solid offensive line. I mean, if he came here, stayed in the pocket, learned under Josh McDaniels, I think he'd be a pretty good Patriot quarterback. But I mean, if you look at it, you got the Miami situation where they traded for Rosen. He's probably one of the other quarterbacks that are more similar to Brady as a stature, and he's pretty tall. He can get the ball downfield. He just needs a place where they're actually going to give him a chance. And him being in a bad spot over there where they're probably going to get one of the top draft picks coming out of the draft this year, he's probably going to be on the move again. Yeah. Brady leaves, he can come over here and develop.
I mean, like I was talking to you about it earlier on the phone, you kind of get it. Brady can't do what he used to do. He doesn't have the time in the pocket that he's used to. He's getting hit a lot because of it. He needs to realize that his O-line is just not what it was. It's just not the same that it was. He has to be able to move out of the pocket, make throws on the run, but he can't. And not to say anything against him, he's a great quarterback, but his legs aren't what they were. He's 42 now, I believe. It's not the same. So you look at it as the standpoint that he's got to be more adaptive to get out of the pocket if he can. Just the O-line's not where it was. He's been getting rushed a lot, and I've seen him just kind of sit there and to the point where they're already on top of him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at Jarrett Stidham's college stats right now. I mean, he's completed at least 60% or 65 and above for the 3 years that he was in college. At Baylor, he had 68%, 66% his second year at Auburn, or his first year at Auburn, and then 60%. I mean, you keep a guy like that, especially if he has a year like he had in 2017, he can be a quarterback for the long haul. He could throw the ball. He has touchdowns. He's a short yard thrower like Brady. He averages at least 11 to 12 yards per game. That's all you really need. Get the ball like that and then go downfield sometimes. He could be a franchise quarterback.
Mm. I can see Stidham coming in. I'll give you this. My top 5, whether if it's trade, free agent, whatever, for a possible replacement for Brady. Everybody wants him to stay here. He's 42 years old. The guy is not going to be getting any better. Hate to admit it, but he's not. He's starting to show his age. Whether he likes it or not, he thinks he can play the game forever, but he can't. There's going to be a time where you have to give up, period. You know, whether if he stays a coach or anything, I don't know. But, you know, he can go off and do whatever he wants. My top 5, whether, again, trade, free agency, whatever, I would have to say, what's his face from the Chargers?
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers.
They were getting ready to bench him, too.
You could possibly replace Brady with Rivers, just so that way, you can get somebody who is at least a veteran, who can throw a ball, who can do plays that Belichick can handle, with a quarterback. My number 4, Jarrett Stidham. Young guy, he can learn the playbook. He can move around. Like you said, he completed 64% of his.
At least 60 and above for 3 years in college.
So he can definitely play. He can be a consistent player for us. So far under Brady's belt, he's got just these few games, but hopefully in these few games that he has been developing with Brady, he can learn the Patriots way and everything like that. My number 3 would have to be Teddy Bridgewater. I would say Teddy Bridgewater, great guy. He was 5-0 in the time that Drew Brees was out. Kid played friggin' phenomenal. He played like a top QB in the league. Definitely played like a top QB in the league.
People are saying we can't be seen on the cam, so everyone should try and get a little bit closer. Let's hug.
All right, you bastards. Can you see us now? Thank you.
That was Devil Dog's request.
So that would have to be my top. My number 3 is Teddy Bridgewater. My number 2, very injury prone. We all know it. Is Cam Newton. Cam Newton would be my number 2. I would hate to say I don't personally like Cam Newton, but the guy is a running quarterback. He can play. He's tall. He's big. He's sturdy. Aside from his injuries that he's taken lately, but the kid can play. Certainly can play.
Keep the stream up somewhere so you can monitor the chat too.
I don't know if I do trust him with all of his injuries though. And my number 1 would have to be Derek Carr. My number 1 would absolutely
sit down to that.
I would absolutely take Derek Carr no matter what. I like Carr.
I don't think that's actually not that bad. I mean, if you
how
look
would you go about getting him?
Derek Carr they wanted to get rid of him already. They wanted to trade him at the beginning of the year, so it wasn't a suitor. You let him go in free agent.
Grinder. All right.
All right. Fuck the Gruden grind away. All right. Fuck the Gruden grind away.
I mean, they already gave away Khalil Mack. They might as well just give away the cage.
So look at this. Ready? I mean, if you look at it, Brady's career is a 63% completion rate.
Yes.
So if you look at all these people that are out there compared to other people, I mean, you're probably getting a better completion rating out of any other quarterback really coming over.
7 interceptions a season is bad for Brady.
I mean, he's tied for 12th. If you really look at
he's 42 years old, man.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's kind of what led us into our other thing. Like, age, I get it. You want to play as long as you can, but at some point, you got to think of the team and just say, what?
What's your top 5? Your top 5 to take over New England. What is your top 5?
I honestly don't have a top 5. Like I said, I'd give a look at Kaepernick if he's willing to come in and just play football. He was a good quarterback. His stats do speak well. He was a good quarterback. He was not terrible.
It's only
just the
thing.
media thing.
So let's say it this way.
The Patriots not a media type of team at all.
If Jared Goff was 42 years old and was going to leave right now, L.A. or the Rams, who would you want to come in there then? In a situation right now, if that were them.
To be completely honest with you, I don't even know who the backup to the Rams is aside from Blake Bortles. And that is not a good thing for us. And that was a terrible accusation. I don't know why they even brought him in. I get it, you need a backup, but he's not even giving wisdom to Goff because that's just... I
gotta stop. I gotta say one thing though. We can't be blaming all these quarterbacks for horrible play too. I mean, because if you look at it, there's plays designed to go to certain wide receivers.
Well, also listen, I don't blame Bortles completely because Jacksonville really doesn't have the wide receiving core that can help a prime quarterback. Granted, if you're a good quarterback, you make do with what you got. Mm-hmm. But Jacksonville is just not all around right now a good team. Period.
Jacksonville has the money to spend.
They do,
and they don't spend it. I mean, it's just like
Shark was phenomenal. He came out of nowhere. He was doing great. And then he hurt himself. You can't rely on one player because that's what happens. They hurt themselves, which is another key point. I'd like to point out, I don't know if any of you guys have followed this, there has been a lot more injuries in football this season, in my opinion, than other past seasons.
No,
Like, I don't know what's going on, if people are not being allowed to heal properly. Almost every other week you put a guy in, they go down, they're out. It's ridiculous. I haven't seen this many injuries since, like, I want to say a few seasons back. But it's been tough, and especially if you're doing fantasy, it's ridiculous. Nick got screwed because every time he gets someone dead to injury, he had AB, and AB did turn into.
I mean, we're supposed to be against concussions, but I mean, I still see that there's a lot of concussions out there right now.
Here's my question: what do you think happens to Odell after this season? Do you think he still wants to stay in Cleveland? Do you think he wants to leave?
He's gone. I agree.
Landry, my opinion, Landry's been better than him anyway. In my opinion, and it may be attributed to quarterback. Baker Mayfield might not be hitting Odell Beckham quite enough, but every team knows you have to double cover him. So Landry's been having a field day.
All right, we kind of got off there. I'll give you my top 5. Right now, number 4 would probably be Jarrett Stidham. I mean, give him a chance. He's a rookie quarterback. He's first year in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he balled out in college. He can probably do the same thing out here. He's under Brady for this year. I mean, you're learning from one of the best in the league. All right, and then I got Josh Rosen, because he's still pretty young. He's lengthy. He has the arm strength to get the ball downfield. I feel like he would definitely be a fit in New England. Now, I would say Kaepernick, but I mean, he had the arm strength, but he's also been out of the league for a few years. So, I mean, as my number 3 quarterback, I probably would say, a Teddy Bridgewater would definitely fit in. My number 2 would be Cam Newton. Cam Newton is a 60% completion rate also for himself. But now I'm going to agree with you. Derek Carr would 150,000% fit into New England. He's up there at 63. He's almost a 64% completion rate.
Carr again?
Derek Carr is about... He's 28, so you get him for what, the next 10 years, 12 years, plays until 40?
And that's assuming he hits his stride in those 10 years, too, with the Patriots.
Look at it this way, right? His rookie season, he threw for over 3,000 yards, 21 touchdowns as a rookie. His second year in the league, 61% completion rate, almost 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns. And then the third year, again, 28 touchdowns, again, almost 4,000 yards. 2017, when he broke his leg.
He's certainly a throwing quarterback.
Yeah.
He's an absolute throwing quarterback. He can launch the ball.
And this year, with nobody alone, that he doesn't really have a team, we still what?
Considering that he has been in Oakland his entire career so far.
I think my concern is the way that the O-line is for the Pats right now. If
you
get someone like Carr, you
look at it this way. Our backup center is a guard.
But he can move in a pocket.
Well, I know he can, but that's what I'm saying. I definitely would like to see, because he's been a bit injury-prone, too. He's been hurt.
Yes.
I would like to see a bit more O-line build-up in front of someone if you're going to bring someone like that in.
Yes.
I know he can still move, get out the pocket, make those throws, but it's just something you have to be conscious of. If someone has been hurt in the past, they're very prone to more injuries in the future.
Yes.
So.
I mean, you got to look at the Mahomes situation.
Yeah. But Mahomes is gonna be if Mahomes is on the market, I would have said go get him.
Oh,
but I mean, if you look at it, okay, so
wants Mahomes.
So every year he's gotten better. From 2016 to now, he's gone up about 7% on his completion rate. This year alone, he's at 70%, and he could keep up that that rate. Last year, 68.9. Those are just things that he's gonna go at. And last year, he put up over 4,000 yards.
Yep.
In a shitty system.
Yeah, it's always been a shitty system.
But like I said, are you considering Carr now? That's all I can say.
I definitely would put him in there, but like I said, I have my things that I would like to be built around him, which obviously you can't guarantee.
I agree. You need
a
no
better
team's
O-line.
going to be perfect.
You need a little bit of a build-up in
there. We're worried about our team in the O-line. Last year, he got sacked 51 times.
Oh, Brady or Carr?
Derek Carr, 51 times, compared to what?
Yeah, but I don't want to see that happen here either.
All right, well, let's look at it that way.
I'm
Brady.
pretty sure our O-line is a little bit built more than the
thing
Oakland
is
Raiders.
is if you look at how Brady's playing, a lot of the receivers he's waiting a very long time in the pocket compared to how he used to.
Well, that's also because all the receivers and tight ends that we have can't get out of the coverage that they are.
Yeah.
Dude,
everybody else is considered
last year alone, Brady got sacked 21 times.
Yeah, they were
That's 21 times in 16. He's only been sacked 26 times.
If you give Carr a decent O-line, decent offense, paired with the Patriots defense now.
Well, I understand where you guys are going, but you still have to look at with what Brady has now. He's still semi-struggling, so I agree. It's still not perfect to put him in there. Right? Not saying that he wouldn't be a good fit at all. I'm just saying there's still things that they're going to have to work on when they bring him in. You're going to have to make sure the receivers can get open. You're going to have to make sure the scheme fits better. Just because Brady's having a hard time hitting the open man lately because the way that the coverage has been on them. And everyone's learning to just double up on Edelman, and you got to be able to trust the new guys too.
I agree.
N'Keal Harry's been able to catch the ball fantastically when he needed to. Myers. I just think there's a little bit of lack of confidence in the new guys.
I mean, you got to look at it this way. I feel like Derek Carr's a more team-friendly kind of guy. He just goes to that guy that's open. And you bring in Derek Carr is going to get it done. I don't see a problem with that.
I'm not saying there is a problem.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you keep Brady again next year, you tenure Brady, and you let him continue to keep playing in New England. No offense, I love Brady. Brady's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. He's got 6 rings. You cannot knock him for that. But at 43 years old next year, you're going to be able to still have that arm strength. You're going to continue to get hit 26 times. That's just 26 sacks. Never mind how many times you get hit.
See, that makes me think he's going to retire then move on because he's going to get sacked a lot more depending on where he goes after this season. I mean, me and Dave were having prior talks, a bit off topic, but we were talking the same thing down the road of the Bruins, You talk about age, there's players around the league, in football, they just got to know when to kind of let your team move on. Chara is a huge example of that when you come to the Bruins. That man should have retired at least last season, and it's nothing against him. Great friggin' player when he was in his prime, but the young legs of hockey now are just getting by him too often. So a bit off topic, but I just think that tie into the age aspect,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw Brady do a stutter step like you were talking about. I saw that replay on the highlights before we did the podcast. And
that was the stupidest stutter
That was
step
the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Guys coming directly at you. From the side, to remind you.
I mean, like I was telling Paul earlier, man, just keep on running, dude. Like, if you're going to get hit, I mean, get hit and gain another yard.
That makes a difference. What about the Ravens backup? He's pretty good. I saw him. RG3, isn't it? Or whatever it is.
RG3 can ball, but
I might slot him in my 5 slot, to be honest with you.
He doesn't make smart decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one, yeah.
I might slot him into 5. He's never really played much after that, though. So I mean, I'd like to see him. If he's a cheap option.
Injury prone, man.
In my opinion, this season everyone's been injury prone.
He needs to know, but he has no meat. I mean, yeah, granted, Lamar Jackson can ball, but I mean, all it takes is for him to have like an ACL tear or something like that, and totally just be useless and not run again, and not it takes you to learn how to play football the right way when you can't be mobile anymore. That's exactly what happened with
football.
with RG3. I mean, he played a really good year or two, and then after that, he just wasn't the same. Mm-hmm. You need to have that mental mindset, like you're gonna get hit, and just take the damn hit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is as well, don't quarterbacks wear the smallest of pads out there, too, compared to the
shoulder pads wise.
He still wears the same pads in Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, it's the, and I also, the hard part about college stats, too, when you try to bring up a top 5 is you got to be careful, because great college numbers can mean absolutely nothing. When you come into the NFL. It's completely different
Everything
animal.
changes, yes.
And same thing with, when you get into the playoffs. Patriots could be doing terrible now, but the other teams could choke. You never know, because playoffs is that big of a difference. That said, I'm really thinking the Ravens are going to take it this year. I know everyone else is like, that's such an assumption. But the way that they're playing, they're firing on all cylinders. They are clicking. They're going to have home field advantage now at this point because they just clinched that. They are going to be the team to beat.
So was Kansas City last year.
I absolutely believe you. Trust me, I know what you're talking about.
They're the Kansas City Chiefs of last year. But
I think they're improved version of the Chiefs, if you ask me. They're playing better defensively. The Chiefs have kind of not been on the ball.
They also got to
run.
They also have a running back that's not over there punching and kicking women in an elevator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
They have somebody that's solid and it's not gonna go get locked up.
What I'm saying is, you got to look at it this way: Mahomes had way more offensive weaponry than what he does over there. Name me some actual talented wide receivers that the Ravens have that have not, off the top of your head, without looking at any of them, who you wouldn't say Snead or someone like that, because they're really not top tier wide receivers that he's making his work with.
They got that rookie right there that came out. You know what I mean?
Marquise Brown's like the only guy though, and then you got tight end.
He's got Hollywood too, though. He's got Hollywood over there.
If you want my honest opinion, the Patriots should be looking at tight ends to steal from the Ravens. They got 3 solid tight ends over there.
You got to think.
Boyle, and they got Andrews.
Any smart team, right, is gonna have at least 2 top tier tight ends and at least another good one just in case anybody got hurt. Granted, not every team is like that, but a smart team, especially like the Ravens that use all 3 of their tight ends, that's power. That's called running power, and not every team in the league runs power. Everybody wants to be flashy.
I'm also on the thing with the Chiefs and the Ravens. I don't see them completely comparable. You had Kareem Hunt, who was on fire that season. You had Tyreek Hill, who can blow by almost a majority of all the safeties and all that back there. You still have Travis Kelce. You have Sammy Watkins, who can show up on certain games. He just had more weapons at his disposal. And Mark Ingram, who just went down with a calf injury, who we don't know, if it's serious or not yet. I mean, not for nothing, but Mark Ingram went over there because he didn't want to be a backup running back. And he's technically a backup over there right now because of Lamar.
I mean, if you look at it this way, if he stayed in,
Saints?
New Orleans, dude. I mean, they just didn't want to keep him because he tested positive for steroids again. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's another thing, though. Like, if you're a good player and you're balling out, man, I don't know why you need to use performance-enhancing drugs. I don't care who you are. But, I mean, at the same time, though, you got to know where you need to go, where you're going to win. In New Orleans right now, yeah, they're balling, but they're not going to win because when it comes to crunch time, they just don't make the smart decisions to win games. Right now, you look at it, Baltimore is doing exactly what they need to do. They're not switching up. They're going to roll into the playoffs, and they're going to keep doing exactly what they were doing, and they're just going to put it down your mouth because they're just running smash-mouth football. Yeah, if you got a quarterback that's mobile and can run, great. Who needs a running back? As long as you can take the hits and endure the pain and run the ball and keep going, shit, I say run the ball all day.
Well, my point is I just think that a lot of people are kind of heavily saying that the Ravens are going to burn out. I think they're running a very good football, and I don't think they're going to burn out. I think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl this year. In my honest opinion, a lot of the AFC doesn't look too hot to compete with them this season. Chiefs can be hit or miss in games. Pats have been struggling to put the points up to compete with the other teams when it comes to point battle. And then you got other teams in there that, might cause a problem, but not as much. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to reach from the NFC. That's, in my opinion, probably the best bracket and best, conference to watch and, watch those games.
So I want to build out something that you said then, and it's a question for both of you guys. Honest opinion, and I'll tell you what my opinion is. Do you guys really want to see the Patriots, besides being fans, as a standpoint for being like an analyst of a football, looking at it? I mean, give somebody else a chance. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, the Patriots have been to the last 4 Super Bowls. You've won 3. You lost one that you probably shouldn't have lost because you weren't playing smart, and you already have 6 within the last decade and a half. Let somebody else go. I mean, do you really need the ratings to have the Patriots in there to have those ratings?
Just on a side note, the Eagles beat the Cowboys, so that knocks the Cowboys down. That was a big win for the Eagles. So, on a piggyback on that, me as non-biased, Patriots are my second team, obviously, but I am a Rams fan.
Boo.
Yeah, boo me all you want. We suck anyway, so it don't matter to me. But it's not. I don't think, honestly, if you look at it from Pats fans, a lot of them just kind of want to see every year Brady earn another ring. That's really, in my opinion, that's all I kind of see Pats fans going, oh, Brady needs to get another ring. He needs to get another ring before he retires. I haven't really, when I talk to Pats fans, aside from you guys, heard anything that's in-depth. Why you want the Pats to go there. Do they deserve to be there this year? Like, to be honest, I don't think they deserve to reach the Super Bowl this year the way they're playing. I've seen on Facebook countless Pats fans kind of complain about the officiating, even when the Pats have won. I think a lot of Pats fans are stuck on the officiating and not how the Pats are actually playing.
I mean, that Kansas City game, though, you gotta say, though.
Oh, absolutely.
That officiating.
There are games
that's the
where
only.
they're
I
terrible.
think that's only really the game that you can actually sit there and question and be like, "Damn, we got screwed."
Oh, absolutely.
That's the only
what I'm
game
saying.
this
If
year
you
that
talk-
I've watched that you could actually say that.
If you talk to a lot of Pats fans, not a lot of them will give you a reason other than I want to see Brady win another ring. To be honest with you, and I honestly am looking at their play as a whole, and they just kind of don't deserve to be in the Super Bowl. They've earned their wins, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that they deserve a Super Bowl shot right now with how they've been playing, because they can be way better.
No, you're right.
Here's the thing. Patriots fans have to start learning to accept.
Loss.
Yeah, exactly. Loss.
Yeah,
They have to start learning to accept the losses among the team. It's all around. Not just Patriots fans in general. It's I would have to say.
Side note that in there.
I would have to say the entire Boston sports. I would have to say the entire Boston sports. Throughout over the past 2 decades, we have been completely dominant. Whether if it's I can't say basketball. We've only won one. The same thing for hockey. But we have been in the playoffs quite some time now, regardless for what the sport is. We have to learn how to accept a loss. We're always not going to be in there completely. I think the Patriots need to allow some teams to get in there. I'm not saying I'm against it. Believe me, I want as many Super Bowl rings as we can. But it's just not going to happen. For one, you're never going to see a dynasty like this, period. No matter what. Ever. Probably in the longest time ever. You are never going to see this. Brady, you're not going to see a quarterback like him anymore.
No.
At all. To the people that have seen him win every single ring, that's all you're going to see. That's no matter what, you're going to see that, period. But I think people have to learn how to accept a loss. Period. It's just I do believe that we need to give some other teams a chance, and what I also want to say is the reputation that the Patriots have caused themselves for the cheating situation, whether it's Spygate, Deflategate, or Spygate 2 for the Cincinnati game. It's just a situation where it makes you get like a disgusting taste in your mouth. Like, is this the Patriots way, or is that the Patriots way? Pretty much, are you just single-handedly beating teams, or do you need to cheat to get your way through? It's one of the things that you can't exactly pinpoint, but all they can do is just sit there, deny, and not give a specific answer for it, whether or not if the team is actually good enough. I'm not saying that the team is bad, but I think Patriots need to just kind of calm it down a little bit and just kind of let other teams ride. Yeah, that's basically it.
Side note, Arizona defeated Seattle. Big upset there. Russell Wilson actually played very bad. At least from what the stats procure. I'll probably have to check highlights on that one. I didn't expect that game to go that way, but I guess Arizona wanted to smack one out of the Seattle hands. So we should probably switch teams here, or topics or something.
Real quick, to piggyback how you said you gotta let somebody else. Looking it up for the last 20 years, the Patriots have been to almost 50% of the last Super Bowls, and their appearances are 9. They're 9 to the past 20 years. Like, that's a ridiculous amount compared to anybody else that's in the past 20 years.
Like it anymore.
We at some point, but we're going to be in a drought.
Imagine
but
if we had Aaron
People did the same thing when it was the Cowboys, when it was the 49ers.
The Steelers, when they had...
Yeah, exactly, the Steelers. This is the Patriots are that era of football.
That's also why you're seeing a lot of these other fans rise up from the ashes. Oh, the Bills are having a great season. Oh, the Ravens. That's everyone's rising from the ashes now. The Patriots are kind of
getting to be that team where it's coming to an end,
Yep.
and that's what's going to happen.
And it's going to be a drought. You're going to have to ride
Exactly.
it out, and you're not going.
Yes.
It's not going to happen immediately overnight. We're going to come back and be another dynasty. So.
Yes, I'm not saying that we're going to be losing Super Bowls for here on out. It's
Just going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. Yes, I'm not going to cry about it, but
Records are not going to look as pretty. You're going to have to grit your teeth. I mean,
Yeah.
for God's sakes, look at all the diehard Bruins fans that have stuck with them.
take it now. Swallow your pride and accept the loss.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
all I
what?
can say.
They won in 2011. The last time they won was what, 72?
Yeah. I mean, I would put it this way. Don't go into the
39
playoffs
years.
as a Pats fan and expect them to be monumentally better. It's not going to change. They're probably not going to have a big change by the time they hit the playoffs. I don't think they got the bye.
Mhm.
So I don't think anything's going to change. Don't go in there expecting to walk into work the next day with a good big old grin like you usually do, because they might lose round 1. Round 2, you never know. Anyone could take the Patriots out at this point at any time.
Just to conclude that quarterbacks, serious change.
Yeah.
You need to think about a quarterback.
Better take that
They're going
out.
to probably end up drafting another one in this year's draft.
Dare not
along
ever
with
see
Stidham.
Jameis Winston on that
They're going to
screen.
need...
I hate that man.
Fuck Jameis Winston.
I hate that man.
Guy's garbage.
Yeah, he's not. He's just inconsistent as all hell.
I agree. Quarterbacks, wide receiving,
Tight end has to be looked at.
tight end needs to be looked at.
Maybe a little
You
tweak
got to
in the
plan on.
O-line.
You also got to plan on Edelman leaving in a while.
Yep.
In a bit.
I mean, he might leave when Brady does. To be honest with you, if he can, I'll tell you
Yes.
that. Because he's that big of a Brady fan and he loves playing with Brady. And I think when Brady goes, he's not going to enjoy the next person to come along. So.
Probably not. So, on
Let's move to the Sox.
we'll talk about.